Add on with the brothers and sisters over here.
Okay, look at me.
Now you maintain. I just be talking on here. So you got Khalid Gasil, I got Sincere, Wise You, got Cypher Divine, Magnetic Mike, Complete God of Love. That's the brother that said peace to you. You can.
Ooh, I got Harlem shit. I got.
Nah, Complete God of Love.
Oh,
Check them out. Harlem 6, I got.
yeah, I know he's gone.
That's what I said. You check.
We used to go together, Darkim down here. That was my little building partner.
We got Jermaine Reed. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we don't graduate one day upstate somewhere.
Yeah, they from all around the
All
country.
out of town.
Yeah, really.
You know, somebody called here today talking about you be interested in some business. I said, not me. They ain't here. Call back on Saturday. Yeah, you talk to your own brother. I said, I'm all right. I'm good to go. I don't know. I even have what kind of business you talking about. I said, I'm all right.
Joseph.
Joseph.
Yes, another brother that comes on the show, right? You know, we got quite a few brothers and sisters that come on and check out what we're doing over here at school.
Yeah, I want to see what's going on. Tell me over here to building. Ain't no shopping now. We got to build power. We moving on.
That's Reeves.
And we ain't catching no COVID-19. We ain't named that shopper.
Yes, indeed. You know what I'm saying? But today we got a topic. We got two topics.
You go with phones,
Yeah.
you dig.
Your understanding versus supreme understanding. And we're going to be speaking about bad narratives. A little something, a little something that I think illustrates, at least for me it does, it illustrates, why I took exception at, not just one person, but just the comments made mostly online because, comments are not coming to me about things that happen. Because some of these narratives, man, is they get out of control because, we started with the premise that the 5% is always the troublemakers.
Yeah, they always say it.
The brothers who know their degrees is always the abusers.
Yeah.
In essence, this is true. God cypher divine. If you can't make your understanding understood in the most simplest of ways, it ain't supreme. But see, this is what I'm saying about sometimes we get these new age ideas, right? That they feel right and they feel good. They kind of, just like you got logical fallacies, right? You got kind of emotional fallacies. That this feels good that everyone is able to express themselves in certain ways, right? And see, what's happening is that reality is becoming too subjective. See what I mean? We saw that in the last video, where a person's understanding, right, is based on the subjectivity of their perspective. And listen, we respect that. We're not here to negate anyone's experience. I told you I got some fancy terminologies now. I've been listening to my daughter is back home from college, so you know I get to hear all these new fancy terms. You know what I'm saying? In one thing that I see is suffering maybe the most from this type of mentality is understanding. Where we have this thing where you could be wrong, but if you just claim that that's your understanding, you claim that that's your experience, right? You know, somehow this is supposed to validate it. You know what I'm saying? And no, understanding is not as subjective as it is objective. See, subjective is based on your perspective, your experiences, you know, all the things that you bring to the table. And, you know, I don't want to make it seem like that's not important. But I also want to make knowledge born that there is objectivity, which is when you come to the conclusion based upon the facts and circumstances without you, you know, adding on your biases. You know, you know, what is understanding? See, this is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, I'm glad you came in, love, too, because you know, when you're dealing with these type of fine terminologies, see, love has a very good command of language, you know, just the English language, you can tell by the way he uses it, but also from speaking multiple languages. You understand what I mean? Where, you know, like I'm saying right now, you know, you have to understand the difference between the subjectivity of your understanding, right? And the objectivity of supreme understanding. See, supreme understanding is going to be able to be seen by all of us. You understand what I'm saying? It's not, you know, going to be right only in a set of circumstances that's created in your world. You understand what I mean? Because see, that understanding cannot travel through time and space. Because, you know, after a certain amount of time and space, then the things that your understanding was based on is not true no more.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, let me give you an example, right? Let's say if you see, because look, I like to do this, right? Because, you know, when you give a real world example, see, a lot of these things, these logical fallacies, these emotional fallacies, right? They only make sense in a theoretical world. And once you start trying to apply these ideas and concepts, right, you start seeing that they don't really work. You understand what I mean? So this is what I'm saying. Let's suppose if you was a black seed, right? Some of us is black seeds, you know, but I'm just saying we just dealing with this example. Let's suppose you was black seed, right? And your black woman was a black seed. And she's pregnant, she's having a baby, right? And you go to the hospital to see the baby, right? And the baby is white. Mm-hmm. And you say, what's going on here? And she says, no, that's my understanding. of the seed that you planted in me. That's my understanding of it. That's how I drew it up. You know, I'm me. I drew it up how I wanted to do. See, most of us would say to that black woman, you know, look, I don't care about what you're saying about how you feel about it and how you see it and what's your understanding. This is the seed and this is the egg. In the black man body, it's just a black germ, a brown germ. How is it that you came up with an understanding that's not based on that knowledge and wisdom? You would say, no. That understanding is wrong.
Yes, indeed.
To see, all I'm saying is this same thing applies, man, when a person just comes in and say, listen, you know, I studied the whole 1 and 10 and white man is supreme. There's people that, you know, have read all types of things and came to opposite conclusions of what is the meaning of that. And see, there's a lot of things that lead us in the wrong direction when it comes to realizing that there's your understanding, right? And there's supreme understanding. And see, one of those things is lack of understanding. See, a lot of times when we don't understand, right, then we come under the impression that the supreme understanding doesn't really exist. We come under the impression that this big picture doesn't exist. Like, see, in the small picture of the life that I had experienced and where I came from, I didn't understand at first when Brother said Allah said, we're not pro-black or anti-white. I didn't see the whole picture that he saw, right? But that didn't mean that it didn't exist. And see, this is happening a lot with the younger brothers who's coming into the nation, right? Where, you know, you start to hear these terminologies. You know, like at one time, it was popular on Facebook, right? That, you know, if you was about the lessons, you know, you was about, you know, supreme understanding and not just different people's opinions and interpretations, which get misconstrued with understanding, right? Your opinion is not understanding. That's that, you know, that's what you're saying is your understanding, that's good. You see, if your understanding, like Don Bishop was saying, other places, right, cannot be seen and heard everywhere. And understanding means to see. Because I'm gonna tell you nothing. Because like I said, this a lot of this stuff is dealing with kind of new age ideas. You know, that as far as I'm concerned, like I saw them gain popularity. I wouldn't say I was there when those ideas was founded, but I saw them gain popularity. You know, and you know, this is the type of thing, you know, right now, they don't look at it the same way, right? But listen, when somebody used to only be able to see something themselves, we used to call that insane. Like if, you know, if we say that we all right here, right, and you see a ghost coming in here, we should say, yeah, he with us. You know, but don't listen, don't get caught up in that. people that hear things that only you hear, we used to, we didn't used to consider that just your understanding. When you walk down this block, when everybody else just see people minding their business, and you see people after you, we used to think something's wrong with you. We So see, that's something that and we're gonna get back into that. But I'm glad that Infinite came in right. Infinite just came in the room. Shout out to him. Because I want to get into these bad narratives. This is, really, I want to get into the bad narratives first, because that's kind of it's not the supreme understanding topic is a little more important. Spend a little more time. But we're going to divert right now. If anybody got any questions about supreme understanding versus your understanding, right? Write those down. And, as soon as we finish with this, we'll get right back to it. But I want to deal with these bad narratives, man, that I hear and that I've been experiencing for years. You know what I'm saying? So when you deal with these bad narratives, a lot of times what you'll find is that the conclusion was already accepted. The conclusion was already assumed, presumed, however you want to say it. And so the conclusion is that the 5% is troublemakers. Who was involved over there? Or listen, Darkim and them. In all the years, months, and days, them has never been named. It goes from y'all to Darkim and them. But that's besides the issue. They didn't say my name this time. We just stopped at y'all. So here is the narrative that I want to give y'all. This is the narrative that already exists. And so as I hear, people saying, they talking about something that happened. And as the brother explains it, he says, yeah, I heard y'all ran him away. That's the narrative. I heard y'all ran him away. Now let me tell you what happened. You give you the Christie version. You give you the version, my version of the events. Right? We got a character that smoked crack with the money that was for an event that the school was throwing for the babies. Let me say that again. Because see, what I think is the problem with these narratives is that the entirety doesn't get looked at. Once again, this individual smoked crack with the money that was for an event for the babies that was being thrown at the school. Oh, yeah, I think it's over. Let me add this on. This is the second time that he smoked crack with the money that was for an event at a law school. Now, the first time, it wasn't for the babies. And what he smoked up was contained to what he was going to contribute to the event. But not this time. He's collecting money from here in person. People is chipping in money with him to get things. He's on Zoom meetings. He's on Instagram, all these places collecting money. And then he smoked crack with said money that was for the event for the babies that was being thrown at the school. I take exception to the narrative that we ran him away. How about he's embarrassed and scared to come back around and explain how much money he smoked up? Or is there, hold up, wait a minute. Let me add on a little more full disclosure. Because maybe this is the part where people are saying, maybe this is where I want to go. He bought some grills, right, that he was supposed to be using to cook the food at the event for the babies that was being thrown in the school. So after that happened, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna say we. We talking about me right here. Nah, I mean, you know, if he calls, yeah, tell him, get about those grapes. And if you was at the show and prove you ate burgers, you had Franks, I use that grill to cook that. And take it home with me. That was the first time I used it a couple times since then. But what is the option? What's supposed to happen? Like, was one of us supposed to make a trip somewhere to bring him the grills? Because I know you can't be suggesting that the right thing would be for him to come back here and pick those grills up. Who's going to throw them away? So I don't know if that's the part that becomes the bad narrative. But is anybody seeing what I'm saying? Is anybody seeing how this narrative that's already built up in people's mind? Like you starting out with who you think is the culprit. You start out with what you think is the motive. And then you cherry pick one or two events, right? In a whole series of events that make up a whole situation, right? And from that, you put this narrative out there. See, beware of the people that you talk to. Beware of the people, right? When you listen, when you think of all the worst things you heard about the 5%, right? Those 5%ers that told you that shit, yeah, stay the fuck away from them. Especially if they didn't have nothing else good to tell you. Like I've seen some people, their whole spiel is how fucked up everybody in the nation is. But see, that's a tactic. That's a tactic. See, if I can't rise above, right, then I have the alternative of trying to push everybody else down. But I'm just saying, did anybody else catch? Did anybody else catch what I'm saying? Like this, I'm saying this is why, like I said, the other video, I took exception to the way this was being, the way it was being narrated. That was a situation that occurred over things that were said and over ideas that people just had, and not over things that happened. See, the reality is, right, there's a history, right? Take some of my born mastermind and shit he was doing over there at the UN. There's a history, guy, right, that we do not use the name of the nation in any dealings with them. Because we know how they treat agreements, treaties, et cetera, et cetera. We know how that gets down. See, that's also what it means when Allah said we're not supposed to be an organization or anything, right, where we might have the liability. Anything, the nation, our name can never be collateralized, collateral for nothing. We can never put ourselves under the charter to deal with nobody's law except supreme mathematics. When Born Mastermind went down to the UN and used our name for that shit, he was going against a decision that was, motherfuckers say it's hard for us to make a decision, but we made that one. That's why if you come to the school, right, it says Allah Youth Center in Mecca and not Allah School in Mecca. Allah Youth Center in Mecca, right, operates inside of Allah School in Mecca. But if anything ever happened with that charter, we cannot, the school is not collateral as a part of that. So when he went to do that, the reality is we told him, you cannot make that kind of decision by yourself. And you can say whatever the fuck you want, but listen, when you got a whole nation of people, first of all, why would you make a decision, right, with all the different expertise, with all the different brothers we have in the nation? Why would we not, and sisters, peace, Queen Medina, why would we not consult with all that expertise that's at our, we got that resource? That's what we told them. You got to slow down. You can't make that decision on your own. What he do? Go full speed ahead, double down on everything, go public with it. Go back down there, have more meetings where he put our name up there. So now you tell me, who is the bully? Who is bullying who? If you thought that looked bad, whose bad look was that? See, listen, man. He refused to build with us, right? That's what I'm telling you. That's what we said. If you look at the rallies, the rally that really, you look at the rally, there's a brother saying, yo, God, look, I'm a paralegal. I know something about this. All I'm saying is, God, listen, slow down with that. consult, with the brothers, man, before you. Nah, that's not what he wanted to do. So now, if a person don't want to build, there's only two things left. So what was supposed to happen? We were supposed to let him complete that bullshit? Because after build, it's only two things left. So now people seeing the very ending of something play out, right? And because he tried to use his ideas in that shit he's talking, right, as a shield for the shit that they did and that he was doing, that's when you saw the crushing of that bullshit he was talking. You see, I take exception when motherfuckers act like I can't use my supreme intelligence to crush a fucking dunce like him. I motherfucking said it. I don't give if you think that nigga's smart, listen. Somebody smart would look at the fucking outcome of the shit he did. Is that what smart people do? See, everybody think because they saw everything that was on video. Nigga, film runs out. Nigga, batteries die. Even Infinite wasn't there and everything would happen. So yeah, again, I'm a little bit upset. I'm tired of motherfuckers with the whole narrative. Niggas want to tell the whole narrative, right? But you don't even know that nigga. And you don't know me neither. But just, I'm telling you, if that narrative doesn't illustrate to you how people's minds is twisted and their attitudes is biased, that an individual can smoke crack with the money that's for an event for the babies, and the story will be that we ran him away. Welcome to the 5%. Listen, I give you a chance right now. Go ahead. You take the blue pill. If you want to go back, now's your chance. Yeah, we won't even be mad. Now that you know that this is the kind of niggas we around. But now that we got rid of that ring, yeah, you didn't record a lot of things. You didn't record the multiple times that I met him on 42nd Street. There's lots of things that's what I'm saying to people who listen, man. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I feel regular. I don't feel like a troublemaker. I don't feel like a person that if there was a situation, that person don't think like, yeah, let me go and, build on the science of mathematics with this brother right here, you know what I mean? And see, what was going on with that guy. Why would you do that? But you go live first. Silence. But back to your understanding versus supreme understanding. Do we have any questions on that there topic? Uh, yeah, now listen, look, see, Don Bishop, some of you put right there, you said, Born Mastermind had a debate with Ali Muhammad. And see, it was after that debate, it was during that debate, and after that debate, when he, whatever this, the whole plebiscite thing or whatever he was talking, that's where he got that from. And that was the point. You can't politic with Ali Muhammad about nation business. Like that's nation business. I don't understand what everybody else didn't see about that. You see, the wordsmith, this topic, the other part of the topic that we was dealing with is pretty important for somebody like you. It's pretty important for you. Let me ask you, or any of the new people in the room, the people who, if you was already here the first time we went through it, don't say nothing. If you knew you just came in the room, this is the question. What is the difference between your understanding and supreme understanding? Yeah, 314, third degree and 114. That is telling you a lot about understanding. So you gotta have understanding, right? To really be a seed, when we say understanding seed, where you rising above just the physical part, right? That just you like skin. See, that's why the degree tell you about understanding, but Christopher Columbus is just a half breed because he don't have understanding. So therefore, he got to stick with just being the half original man. You see what I'm saying? Just like an individual who can never be to make your own human plant, you got to stick with just being the Asiatic black man. See what I'm saying? When we say, well, how you God? Well, I mean, the black man is God. I mean, that's all you can say. Because you haven't risen above that 6, right, to the actual mindset. But West Coast wise, yeah, if you wasn't in the live, yeah. Whoever, because we went over this topic first, and then I slowed it down because I figured the bad narratives, was a little less important topic. Yeah, God ain't playing his numbers. You King, the guy from Seattle, said peace.
Peace and be safe. From Seattle.
what you said right here, my understanding is supreme understanding, and yours should be as well when we see it like. Why, as you said, you can exile yourself by your said understanding. That's true. The original Mr. 120. Your understanding applies to you. Supreme understanding applies universally. See, that's something, when you have knowledge, your knowledge is supposed to be universal. Your wisdom is supposed to be universal. But then your understanding, you telling me, is based on a small sliver, right, of your perspective. West Coast Wise says supreme understanding is based on the cyphers understanding 360 degrees. Your understanding is based on your sight. Spock said it was not a debate. They had a discussion. Also, Brother Reggie was there, and he became influenced by all Muhammad's Aboriginal movement. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, whatever it was, I saw them there talking. Then the next thing we saw this stuff, you know what I mean? And I'm saying that those are the reasons. Like, just in terms of you thinking that, like, you coming around, like, listen, we have a lot of ideas, and then we might not be thinking about everything what happens. But, depending on what you're doing, man, that's something that has to go, like, listen, but before that street sign was put up there, I mean, yeah, it's a great idea. Who would be against it? But still, whatever we do, we got to do it with knowledge and wisdom. And see, like I said, when you're just dealing with theory, you can talk and talk and talk. But like we had the guy on here the other day, man, who was like, listen, man, him using his knowledge and wisdom under that pressurized situation saved his life for real. Not long term, I could have ended up like this or that. Nah, motherfucker standing up over you with a gun, and you have to talk this person out of killing you. Joe Thorne said God is not being so much as it is a state of being. One either experiences this elevated state of consciousness or one experiences a separation from it. The complete God Allah says supreme understanding can form equations that apply to all situations. The wordsmith said, I heard Ali Muhammad say that one, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's the point that I'm making, that I made earlier, you go back, is that understanding is not as subjective as is being made to seem by a lot of people who, in reality, you see, people use that, well, that's my understanding, as a way, right, to be wrong. Like, if you had enough experiences being in cipher, right, you know what I'm saying? A brother would be wrong in his degrees, right? And then his defense is always, well, that's what my lesson said. Now, see, y'all might go for that today because of just the structure of the way things are. But see, once upon a time, everybody knew everybody. So say if a person came up to me, right, yeah, peace, guy, outside, yeah, where you from? You from over there? Yeah, who gave you knowledge? Oh, you got the knowledge from Love Eternal? All right, that's peace. They got how you see the days agree in this degree, right? And they tell you something chopped up. You say, nah, that's not, that's not how it goes. So what he says, right, inevitably is, well, that's what my degrees say. But here's where you fucked up at. I know love eternal. I build with love eternal on degrees all the time. And I know that's not what his degrees say. See, it's the same thing with understanding, where you could always hide behind this, like IT was saying, speaking your truth. What do you mean, lies? Because it's only one truth. What the fuck you mean, your truth? I never understood that either. That's just your truth. What do you mean, your truth? Like, to me, that's beyond your side of the story. Like, to a liar, that's his truth, right? That's another good example of what I'm saying, where people, the truth has become too subjective. And so, for instance, let's use a real world example, right? When we look at the news, we see the subjective news for the most part, right? And is based upon the perspective and viewpoints that's expressed on what channel or what website or whatever that, however we get in the news. And see, this kind of distortion of reality, man, it works out in a lot. Listen, there's some things that I don't even want to touch because this is a Hotep channel. There's applications of this type of logic that we could go into that, listen, they cancel the channel.
Hey, Darkim, could you move your back for the name? Put the next thing on the board for tomorrow or till the meeting? Wait until tomorrow.
Yeah, wait till tomorrow. Get it all that, man. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, we, there is an objective truth, and there is an objective understanding. I mean, that's a good question. Don Bishop asked, if the truth is subjective and not objective, is it actually truth? Can we actually, we can't show and prove that it's truth. It could be, but we can't show and prove it because if it's subjective, right, then it's always based on things that everybody's not subject to. It's based on experiences and perspectives that everybody don't have. Fly Face from the Providence Plantation said, my understanding is based off my third eye and my ability on how I see things from my own perspective. And supreme understanding is based off of how it actually is. and should be seen by everyone. Well, look, supreme understanding is also based on your third eye. You understand what I'm saying? But these is things, you know, things is, you know, we have a lot more general knowledge than people had in 1964 or 1934. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, even from the perspective of, you know, being in America and feeling outnumbered and overpowered, right? And then you read the lessons, right? And you find out that no, in fact, we're not outnumbered. You know what I'm saying? And you read, you know, you study history and you find out that no, in fact, we haven't been overpowered every time. You understand what I'm saying? You know, these are facts that you also draw up with your mind, right? But now that you have a wider perspective than just you know, wherever you might live at, where you might see more white people than you see black people. You know, and you see these white people in positions of power, you don't see black people in positions of power, right? So that's going to give you a certain mentality. You know what I'm saying? Where, you know, if you see a black man walking in a building downtown, you know, you're thinking that he's the janitor. You know, your mindset, because of your biases, that's how you see him. And see, that's one of the things we do when we increase our knowledge and wisdom and our experiences, right? Is that we expand out our knowledge so that we can see 360 degrees in the facts and circumstances of whatever it is that we're drawing up. That's why we don't take things on face value, so that we can get a supreme and complete understanding, right? Rather than just this perspective. Terrence said the truth is like salt in your eyes. We got a little side rally going on over here. This is the first time we haven't did side rally in a minute. For those of y'all that might be new to the Random Jews channel, the side rallies get popping. But do you have any questions about your understanding versus supreme understanding, right? Nah, I never heard nobody come in the name of Yakub. I mean, yeah, nah, Yakub. Yeah, I don't know how they I'm trying to think, you know, what wisdom might be appropriate to justify something like that. I can't think of that right now.
Definitely. We talking about now.
The brother said, have I ever heard of anyone coming in the name of Yakub and trying to justify it? Al Kim Salam, peace of God.
You were a couple. Knucklehead budget try you.
Yeah,
I ran into him.
they never came around with it.
They. At the outfield, they clap.
What? I,
They talking out their head.
do we have any questions about that? Your understanding versus supreme understanding, you know, and also understand, right, that this is very important in us building, right? And actually acknowledging that there is a supreme and universal understanding to be understood. So that, you know how people say, yo, you know, a person is listening just to, you know, rebut what you're saying. They're not really listening to, you know, try to understand what you're saying. You know, a lot of times it's because you coming from the mentality that, yeah, everybody got their own understanding. You know what I mean? So you don't even accept that there is a universal understanding. And so, like I was getting ready to say it, and I got it something else. This is what, you know, brothers, I would say, you know, that had the knowledge before the 90s. You know, this is a part of what we're talking about. You know, when you see, you know, a lot of times, you know, brothers that got the knowledge in the 90s and after, right? They have this mentality a lot of times that, yeah, see, a lot of things that y'all see, right? That's y'all understanding.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, and now the way we see, you know, and breaking everything down and just calling everybody, you know, that's our understanding.
Everybody.
And to me, that's, you know, I don't.
Tell the guy he understands the knowledge of himself. Understanding is metal. You only one understand that you understand who you is. Not nobody else but you. Long you know and understand who you is, nobody can tell you nothing else.
Oh yeah, we had now, in terms of big-headed scientists, you know, we had quite a few individuals, you know, into the cipher and leave out with that moniker. You know what I'm saying? Quite a few, like it's too many to name, you know. Mr. Spot said you got a question. Nah, see, if it's understanding, right, and we don't agree, that's one of the signs to tell you that one of us, at least one of us, is only dealing with our understanding. Because it's the same thing. Listen, you could be crossing the street, right? And you don't see that car. And I say, yo, Wise, watch out for that car. And then you look and you see it and you activate accordingly. Just because you didn't, you know, that, you know, yeah, when we come together, right, as one mind, yeah, maybe I wasn't looking at all the whole perspectives of this. See, we're not talking about the different ways that we may communicate the same thing that we see. Like I may use an example to communicate this understanding. But the same way I say, Wise, look out for that car, and you look and you see the car, if I tell you a perspective or aspect of supreme understanding that you ain't seen before, right? And we dealing with the same knowledge and wisdom, you're supposed to be able to see it. See, Wise Prince, look, I gave this example, right? I gave this example before you came in, right? And but this, you get this, what I'm saying. Suppose if your black woman was pregnant, right? Y'all was expecting the baby and everything, right? And then you went to the hospital, right, to see them, and the baby was white. Like, let's suppose you went to the hospital, you know what I mean? The blanket, baby's wrapped up, you know what I mean? You grab the baby, pull back the blanket, and the baby is white. And then she says, well, nah, that's my understanding of the seed you planted. Like that's how I see it. I mean, most of us is gonna say, nah, something's wrong here. This is, your understanding of how you see me and my understanding of how I see me, nah. One of us is wrong. See, either I got some white in me that I ain't never know about, or that's not my baby. That understanding is not right. See, we live in a world right now where everybody's understanding is supposed to be right. West Coast why I said she's pregnant now, and if that baby is white, it would be a misunderstanding. That's what I'm saying. So you got to look at these things real. In our theoretical world, we can make almost anything seem right in the theoretical world. That's what science is about. That's what, experimenting with the theory and what they call it, reproducing the results and all of that type of stuff. So that's just one example of how everybody can't just come with their understanding, right? Or everybody come with their opinion and think that that's supreme understanding. For most people, if that occurred, yeah, maybe it's real. Who you can't, when you say you have knowledge, you can't God wisdom? Mr. Spock said, if you are an influential person for years and you saw a lot of people and you give your opinion on something, but it goes against supreme understanding, is that your understanding or law, even if people agree? Nah, it's just some bullshit you talking that no one gives a fuck how long you had the knowledge. That shit is wrong. Hey, look, we got a brother coming around here right now, right? Every time he say some shit and it be bullshit, then he want to bring up that, his father is one of the firstborn. And listen, just because he say that one bullshit, right? That don't take him out the realm of still being an influential and important person in the world. We not, we not religious. We are, what I'm saying, it's a holy or religious, endeavor. This person is a holy person, spiritually endowed, divinely inspired to write these. That's not our science. All the science we know, we had to study hard for that shit. So, it's just you wrong. You know what I'm saying? And look, if you around the right young brothers, they're gonna be on you. Let's see, we done got the wordsmith started. Yeah, complete. Yeah, we're not parishioners. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like I said, you know, uh and this is my understanding, uh it will improve, you know, our communication and our ability, right, to make decisions when we realize that there is a universal and supreme understanding, right? Uh, Even if from our perspective, right, that universal and supreme understanding is obscure. Like, you know, just to say that, you know, even as a baby, right, you know, your parents is telling you to do certain things, right? At that time when they telling you based upon your knowledge of life, right? The benefit of that is obscure to you because you haven't been through enough, right? To know that this is something righteous. You thinking that they trying to hold you back. You know, that's just one example of where you may not be able to see the whole picture. Now that's a parent-child relationship, but now you're dealing with your brother or your sister, right? And y'all dealing with a topic, right, of something that, yeah, you may not see the whole picture, right? But here's the thing. Did you even enter the conversation, right, with that mentality? Illuminati. Uh, This is you say here, Jim Jones, with his own understanding, caused people to commit mass suicide. Was his understanding subjective or objective? Well, I wouldn't consider that based on understanding. Uh, you know, it's based on wisdom, knowledge. In fact, where's Wise? What's his name? Wise son had a question. Hopefully, he come in. We deal with that question where he had asked a question about really he didn't understand the difference between zero and cipher. See, cipher means that knowledge has gone to born, right? And you know that's a complete cycle, right? Something that can be, you know, that can exist and be, you know, observed on its own, you know, that can interact with all the rest of reality, you know what I mean, as that specific entity. Uh, Lamel, he was in the what's the names? He was in the comments. I don't know what he's talking about. But that's when the cipher has been formed. When knowledge goes to form. You know what I'm saying? He has some other questions, and I'll wait for him to come on because I get into the whole answer, and that's not what he's talking about. Because he had asked, for instance, what does the 21 ciphers mean? You know what I mean? It means the same thing that it means in arithmetic. The cipher is worth the numbers that's in front of it or behind it, right? And how many of them it is. Yes, I mean? So if a 1 is in front of one cipher, that is what that cipher is showing you the completion of. If a 2 is in front of 3 ciphers, right? This is how you determine, right, what those ciphers is the completion of. Oh yeah, speaking of rappers, man, fucking Biz Marquee return, man. Shout out to the Biz, man. Man. Motherfucking Biz, man. That was crazy, man. I just heard y'all saying DMX, Biz. Who else it was? Prince Marky D? Man, it's getting rough out here, man. And what happened with Scarface? He got recovered? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point right there, too. Mr. Spock said the Son of Man has agreed on what is supreme understanding. So the degrees, right? It says that we agree that there is no God but the Son of Man, right? Now, how successful we are with that, right, is also going to be determined by what else can we agree on. Like if we can only agree on that and nothing else, you see how far that gets us. Got Jake Vaughn in the building. Came up. What's the deal? Yeah, 2021. Yeah, you're right. It's been a bad year for the rappers, man. So Scarface got a kidney from his son. All right. So that's good with Scarface at least, man. Yeah, man. Biz. Yeah, Biz 57, man. Yeah, Biz, his weight got real out of control after uh you know his mainstream career. He still was, doing his thing with the DJing and all of that. Yeah, K-Bar, we was dealing with the difference between supreme understanding and your understanding. You got anything to add on to that topic? Did we didn't get the let me put the link in there in a minute. It's been a smooth class right here. I don't know what it is. We ain't have none people today. Those people. Shout out to the guy, Divine Your Education. Yesterday was his born day. I hit him up a minute ago. God is doing good. I don't know. I mean, the Random Jews channel, we had scientists over here. So, the brothers over here, they understood. You know what I mean? That just the difference in general between subjectivity and objectivity. You know what I'm saying? That the perspective of what you can see is not always the whole picture. And the whole picture is an actual thing. Like I said, it's other topics that we could get into. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Divine U Education. He said he was out of town and he was around he said he was around if see M channel, there's too much people that talk over there. I don't know if we go over there and talk. But I mean, I got a decent circulation. Plus, you know how it is with me. People be watching, but they don't say that. They don't say that. Listen, see, we have what 40, 50 people on live. Only what 10, maybe 15 people talking. But it's cool. That's how I like it. But over here on the Random Jews Network, we understand that there's really no such thing as my truth and your truth. Supreme, I don't know. I don't know if he wants to do it over here. I guess that's a thing. Is that a thing to do a video on the Mega channel on the Law School of Mega channel?
You are not a god, Jay.
All right. Is that what it is?
You taking it with you?
Mm-hmm.
Peace. Peace.
Peace. But Supreme, man, I don't know. Yeah, so over there on your channel, if you let anybody talk. See, Inf is a journalist. I'm not a journalist. See, Inf is like New York One. See, I'm like Fox News. Like I'm telling you the 5% perspective. See, Inf, you just go in here and talk. But that's how you gotta do. Once you go up on Inf channel, then you big time, you go Hollywood and all that. Yeah, you like a journalist, man. You still people run your mouth over there, man. See, I'm like Fox News. Right? You see, you talking that left shit. You come over here to talk. This is just the 5% check. The songs that made the Smithsonian album, nah, I didn't see those. I didn't know the Smithsonian had an album. Yeah, right. The Cypher got 360 degrees, but look, Truth and Righteousness got its own 360 degrees, and Bullshit got its own 360 degrees. Yeah, y'all can say that, man, but he didn't correct that guy. When that guy was saying that we approach Born Mastermind over his ideas. But see, look, when you just letting everybody get look, that's what you guys say, right? And then people analyze it for what it is, right? They heard what you had to say. Problem is, that's what I'm saying. Just in terms of that in particular, just that topic, right? The problem is, nobody heard what I had to say. And yet there's all these people saying, what it was. So but like I said, when you just letting people get their point across, you can't stop them and, go at it with them like I was doing with Lamel. See, like with Inf would just let Lamel say what he's saying, right? And then he might put another clip in there, right? He might put a clip that, puts another point of view or something in there, right? But he just let Lamel say what he's saying. Man, that's the list from this year. Steezo, Andre Harrell, Houdini, DMX. Man. If got a disclaimer, if ain't got no disclaimer, man, let me tell you something, man. If they elevated people up, man, people that's stop it. The solo video, all right, now look, that's a good example, right? Of if what I'm saying is that he just let the nigga talk, right? If just let the nigga talk, right? And then he put certain other things, right, that would be like, yeah, well, that makes what he calls, what he says into question. The same with certain things he said would have to be like, nah, stop, man, get the fuck off my show, man. This nigga said, yo, he got the knowledge in 1979, and at that time, nobody knew 120. We was just walking around playing with it. Nobody knew lessons and that. Hey, what? Wait, what? In Medina? They said, nah, stop. Like, I know you got to do a whole what's your name, but stop. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying is the difference between Inf channel and this channel. Okay, I'm going. I haven't seen Prince Namor. I haven't seen him doing no new jump ropes. I mean, you might have told me it was wrong, but I didn't catch it. I didn't really, like I'm saying, the interview at that point, it would have had to been over. Like, first of all, like I said, I've been, knowing about him and hearing his name, Solar and everything. I had no idea that he was purporting to affiliate himself with the 5%. I had a Spanish brother on here that talked for an hour and a half. Yeah, Lord Jamal was another cat talking, inflamming his mind. Yeah, Prince Name, I haven't seen no new videos for him in years though. See now, look, this is what I'm saying. You hear this right here? Kim has low tolerance for those who don't see things exactly the way he does. You mean motherfuckers that's wrong? I mean, see, this is exactly what I'm saying, man. I got low tolerance for a motherfucker that's saying he got the knowledge in 1979 and nobody in Medina knew 120 lessons. Yeah, guy, I got low tolerance. And not for nothing. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. I have a year and a half documented proof on this channel that I, in fact, have very high tolerance. Very high tolerance. Oh, yeah. That crazy brother. I don't think he was Spanish, though. He was some kind of West Indian. I think, yeah, he was in Costa Rica or something like that, right? Yeah, I got supreme tolerance. You know, but I mean, some of these things, when you say a person doesn't see things exactly, like, let's go through some of these things. See, because that's my point, man. You know, what are these other understandings that that I have low tolerance for? Yeah. It was, yeah. But you know what it was? I just affiliated him with West Indians because in New York, or Panamanian, I mean, they not considered West Indian, but that's more likely who you would see them resting in that kind of neighborhood. I mean, You know, and just like with Lord Jamar, like he can say what he want to say, but look, Lord Jamar said that cipher comes before knowledge. I don't see that as my understanding. That's not our teachings. So I divine truth a lot. Now Bishop get banned by YouTube. And listen, man, I would not give anyone a platform to talk about flat Earth on here. You know, like if you want to come on here and try to build, but you will be. Yeah, that brother that West Coast Wise is talking about. He came on here talking that flat Earth stuff. Nah, man, you ain't got it. Come on, man. Yeah, Lord Jamar, yeah, he's flat Earth, indigenous, all that shit. That's what I'm saying. When you say cipher come before knowledge, and you politicking with certain people, see that's what I'm saying, man. A lot of these things, this new world where now we should all just be able to put our ideas in this form. No, get the fuck out of here with that shit, God. Because God, like I said, I just don't want to get this video taken down. But there's some very, illustrative situations that we could get into concerning what happens when people try to ignore that there's a reality, right? And that how you feel in your opinion in the things that you see, right, is not necessarily the reality. But see, all we got to do, right, is explore the category of political correctness. And we'll see that there are people who want you to accept them how they see themselves, even though there's a reality to who and what they are. See, this thing here, like I said, when you stay in the theoretical realm, but when you really get into real life, and everybody gets to add their whatever they see onto our collective reality, it doesn't work. No, he wasn't teaching Rod Digging on mathematics. He was teaching his boy shit. That's not mathematics. And I hear you what you're saying. All I'm telling you is I would not let him talk on my channel. Like that's the difference. That you would document that this nigga saying that. I don't want to document that. Like that's that whole thing right there is my point. I don't want to document him talking like that. Okay, Infinite. So are you telling me that 3/4 of the people is not not really this? You saying the majority or the majority of the people, right? You saying that the majority of the people is not this? If the majority of people is not seeing, if the majority of people is only seeing what's visible to the naked eye, then they not this. Why are we? Yo. See, y'all niggas gotta stop with these cream niggas, man, allowing these cream niggas to get coffee, man. You watering shit down with these kind of niggas, man. Yeah, that's what he got to do, West Coast wise. See, look, it's always been like that. It's always been like that. Like when uh, it's listen, it's not funny, but it is something that you always laugh at, right? Is that uh, it often happens, right? Amongst the 5%, right? Where somebody's out there, they doing their duty, they teaching and everything, they doing their thing, right? But because their knowledge and wisdom, right, is not at its fullest potential, they can't really teach to the fullest potential, right? But they teaching, they out there, they doing what they do. But then eventually, they bring the people that they teaching amongst the whole. And then those people that they teaching, they notice that, yo, say, you be over here, talking all this shit, keep us on point. You come over here, man, these cats is bombing you. So that was just a long way of saying that, see, in the music industry, amongst the lay people, if you go on Sinetta's channel, he's the guy. But it's like a high school star, a junior high school star in the NBA. I mean, you do your thing, but on that level, to those people, he's the guy. But he couldn't come around me, and people still see him as the guy. And that's, uh, I hope people don't take it the wrong way. I mean, just like I've applied myself to this greatly, more than he has. That's the reason. It's not just that I'm just inherently better than him or shit like that. See what I'm saying? Well, y'all got the word. Y'all got the word strength going in. Oh, God. The only thing that needs to be made known, right? The only thing that needs to be made known is we don't fuck with him. Like, I don't have to go out my way to say that what you teaching is crazy. That's it. Like, listen, and see, look, here's another thing, what I'm saying about Born Mastermind. And even about that brother that smoked the crack. They said we ran away. Son, nobody said nothing to him. Nobody's looking for him. Nobody sent him no, yo, you better this, you better that. Nobody said nothing like that. Same thing with Born Mastermind. Only thing that had to be knowledge, had to be born, is that, yo, nah, the real guys don't fuck with him. I already gotta tell you about what he said. I'm just telling you that, all right, you heard him speak on Supreme Math and whatever and draw these things up. All right, now look, here's the proof of who I am. Let me drop some science on that. And now what I'm telling you is I don't fuck with him. And people was able to see clearly. Like I said, God, listen, I don't build prison houses for people, man. You got to get the fuck away from me. Just like, look, all this shit you just, I don't agree to disagree. I agree to stay the fuck away from you. The fuck would I agree to disagree? I don't understand it. Agree to disagree. All right, look, I'm stay over here, right here. They look, we standing right here. Right? Look, I'm about to walk over here, right? When I walk over here, it's not like I'm trying to walk over to the side so me you can speak privately. I'm walking over here to get the fuck away from you. As Coach Wise said, I think documentation is important, especially for those who aren't there, even though most of us didn't see the full scope. Most of us say the 5% nationally thing as a hoax. What is this? Oh, the 5% nationality thing as a hoax based on your response to the video. You made it loud and clear and shut it down before it started. That's what I'm saying. But I don't have to document what he's doing. The truth will just set you free. But going in all that, man. Man. Not documenting them. Yeah, see, now this is what I'm saying. You said you here to show the facts. Those are not facts, God. Those are not facts. Don Bishop, that's a funny story right there. Oh man, Don Bishop. No, I don't have to. I made it clear why I don't fuck with him. Because he's not one of us. Yes, he K-Ball K-Ball being true. He's not one of us. And look, and that's another thing. And I was thinking about that. That's another thing. If y'all are the one documenting everything, right? And people was going to do something that wasn't even going to be seen, who's really the person who did the bad look? That's what I'm saying. Like everybody else is escaping, escaping the motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? Like I hear what you're saying. You documenting, you know, the good, the bad, the ugly, all that. But yo, think about it, God. I'm not the one that showed everybody that. And one of the reasons why this bad narrative, bad picture shit is out there is because I didn't go around telling people about it. I mean, well, Inf, you said now you don't document everything. Yeah, well, the parts that you didn't document in that situation put a bad narrative out there in terms of people, uh, you know, not realizing, you know, I don't know if you was on here earlier, when I went through the actual signs of what he did that was wrong and why it was wrong, and it wasn't based on you seeing things like me. It was based on an agreement, something that the nation agreed on for decades, guys. Something that was agreed upon before I got the knowledge. That you don't attach nothing with no charter. You don't make us an organization under no set of rules. That's not supreme mathematics. Like I explained to the brothers, that's why it's a law youth center in Mecca. In the law school in Mecca, it's not on those papers. Because this can never be made collateral. This is what I was taught since I first came in here. Nobody brings that up. That's what you did. Like these was the instructions that came from Allah. When you hear say, yo, we ain't no organization, we all, that's what that means. We are not supposed to be under any other rules. Not your agreement with the UN, not your plebiscite bullshit, or none of the other shit. Yeah, but y'all make me have to make knowledge born. Now you say I'm on here making knowledge born. I didn't want to have to make knowledge born. Y'all making me, that's what I'm saying. Y'all make it work for me. I put something out that. These things is, listen, man, I hate what you're saying. I hate what you're saying, man. But look, you know, when you know, you're the person. Because remember, when this happened and the videos first went up, listen, man, the NOI was kicking me down. The NOI, they was letting me have it on, on Facebook. Yeah, they just singled me out. Yeah, he should have talked to him by himself, though. He shouldn't have brought all of them with him. Yes, you see, you missed my story about the bad narratives and how a nigga can smoke crack with the money that's for the event, for the babies that's being thrown by a law school. In the narrative is that we ran him away. Well, I mean, not for nothing. The publicity, Infinite, the publicity did add on to the situation. The publicity added on to the situation. See, just like you said yourself, he did certain things to make a scene. And just like I told you, he's a fucking actor by trade. So yeah, the lights, the camera, the action, that contributed to what happened. From the first night, had that never went up, yeah, that probably would have never exploded to that proportion. So that's what I'm saying. When you know, when people say it's a bad look, right? I'm saying that, okay, the way people are allowed to explain it, right? That happened over us talking, then okay, y'all said that was a bad look. But now that you look at it from the way I saw it, do you still say that was a bad look, Infinite? And if so, whose bad look was it? See, because I don't see other nations doing that. Like, I don't see America saying, well, you know, World War II is bad look. You know, the Revolutionary War, you know, us standing up for our principles and shit, that was bad look, son. Nah, that's King George bad look. Like, nah, got it. I didn't understand that, guy. You clearly not seeing what I'm saying, guy. That he was saying that it was a travesty because somebody said they were going to take Born Mastermind's cape off. But what he implied was that he would have shot us dead. Is my mind warped out here or something? You said who was making videos? Who was making videos? And then I don't know. This is another thing. Hey, listen, random Jews. Let me tell you another thing I take exception at. There's another thing I take exception at. You know, when Jay-Z wears our flag, you know, all other type shit that happens. Somehow these are all teachable moments. And everybody will point out, well, yo, you know that one cat that came over here a couple times, a couple years ago? A couple times he came by. Well, yeah, he said that he got interested in this because he saw Jay-Z with that flag on. Right? But look, on this channel, they will not, the same people, Infinite, the same people will not give me credit that, listen, with that bad look, all the random Jews, all the brothers, all the new Mr. 120s that came from this, all the brothers that's out there teaching now, right? that saw that video and was inspired, they don't give me credit for that. But Jay-Z, oh, he's the shit. Is him, them Black Messiah, when it comes to this teaching shit. Yeah. 21 Savage wearing the flag. Oh, see, we can use that to teach. Oh, you could. But you're not going to give me credit for the fact that I produced true and living gods with that bad look. Yes, I do take exception at these things. It's good. It's good. Like I said, that's how I know. You see, you got to take the good with the bad. Right. West Coast, did you catch that part? That he said, yeah, we were soft. And if Born Mastermind was hard, we wouldn't have said that to him. Like, yo, God, God, you couldn't have came on my channel and talk like that about people that I know better than what you say, that I know for a fact, right, from decades of experience, that this person will crush any fucking idea that Born Mastermind comes up with. No, we ain't talking about validation. See, because like I said, nobody asked for points. Nobody said we cleaned up the world, that we took the devil off the planet by fucking with Born Mastermind. But what's happening is we're being blamed. Infinite. You're missing what the fuck is happening. You're missing what's happening. All I'm saying is I'm watching the same people who agree that that was a bad look, right? You giving credit to other motherfuckers. All I'm saying is that when the person says that, yo, that happened just over ideas. No, Infinite, you're not saying, that didn't happen over ideas. But listen, like I said, you doing that interview, you don't have to defend me. I'm here talking for myself. Now, just because the people was on your channel, I mean, that you got to take it how you want to take it. But the fact is, if people is kicking my back out, listen, I'm not even kicking their back out. I'm not telling nobody that I want smoke, but yes, I am going to point out that there's some very hypocritical shit going on right here. I am going to point out that people don't know what they're talking about. That you can go on there and say you do the knowledge to everything. By that, what you mean? See, all I gotta do is teach what I'm teaching. Like I said, your understanding versus the supreme understanding of what really happened. And your perspective doesn't change what happened. See, look, like I don't know if you missed another one. Listen, man, this has been happening to me since the 80s. Where the narrative is always that the 5% started all trouble. Like, even listen, you listen to some people talk, listen, we the reason it was cracking. We the reason, listen, we turned the whole world upside. I think we wasn't in LA, we don't even know the Bloods and the Crips. Not those LA ones. So what explains why they was doing what they was doing? You want to blame us for everything. I'm telling y'all, you think what you want to think. But that narrative is why motherfuckers don't come around us now. Because you can come to the 5% and find out that, yeah, the 5%, yeah, they troublemakers. Yeah, they hypocrites. They everything in the book. And everybody who knows everything wrong about everybody else, guess what also just happens to be a coincidence about them? They're the most righteous motherfucker in the universe with the knowledge of everything in life plus. And all we got to do is follow their program, and then we'll really be God. Come on, man. West Coast Wise said, on the flip side, we know who's who because of their own words. Did you know Mallah had that viewpoint? I mean, all right, now that's a great point. Now you talking my talk. I like to know who the fuck everybody is. So in that way, yeah, you actually you change the whole perspective. See? Because now, yeah, that's the price I had to pay, right? That's the price I had to pay to find that out. Was I had to get my back kicked in right there. But it's all, like I said, though, you gotta take the good with the bad. So, if you see an opposite reaction to you out there, right, that's very strong, that's because something you're doing. You slaying it. Hey, see, nigga, look, nigga don't game plan for the nigga on the bench. They game plan for LeBron. Game plan for Steph Curry. You game plan for no cat that ain't putting in the work. But you average 0.6 for the season? Let them shoot it. Listen, they want you to shoot it. When they trying to stop you, that's what you're doing the damn thing. And I don't want to put the God all the way in that category to say he's trying to stop it. Yeah. But just saying, when you see, these opposing forces, yeah, that's the reason for that. K-Bar said, what about these new teaching methods? I'm unaware of them. What's the new ones? See, y'all would be surprised. But, in most, it's like a handful of people, mostly, if you got the nod after like 1994, I don't really build you that. I don't like the cats. So if they got some new way that they teaching, I don't know. Yeah, nobody game plan for Kwame Brown. You see, he's still talking crap about it right now. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I'm gonna say something because I see it all around me. Like, son, I'm telling you, you be shocked with this stuff. Like, yo. And then, listen. I know people, some people, look, you didn't say it. You didn't say it. You didn't say it. You didn't start the rumor. But you really believe that shit when niggas told you that? Like, niggas told you that about me, and you believe that shit, son? Yeah, I gotta watch you too. I gotta watch you too, man. You believe that shit? So there's some new brothers that keep saying this ain't the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Sham God, why you laughing? How you doing with cats that got the knowledge after like 1994? Yeah. That year is fairly significant. You know, look, see, my son was born in 1994. So see, if you think I'm gonna argue with you about no, you got your out of this. Like in my everyday life, nah. We come on here, it's different. This ain't the 60s. I mean, well, okay, well, it's not the 67 and 80s. I mean, now, what exactly they mean by that, you know, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, see, somebody, you got the Nas in 1994, 1997, yeah, these kind of times can't teach the same way. Well, like I said, hey, but you gotta be a little more specific than this because I mean, like, what they mean by that? Like, for instance, see these kids today, like some things. I mean, if they mean, like, for instance, right? Uh, I was outside, so I had the knowledge. I mean, I can't call it, but I know it wasn't something that my parents knew the first day I got the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could go outside and go to the rally all the way in Medina, and it wasn't, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't a thing because, even if I was in the neighborhood, I still would have just been outside in the street like that. You see what I'm saying? Uh, but these kids today, man, nah, you can't, we was a different breed. You know what I'm saying? We the last generation where somebody can just walk up to you, tell you some shit that's totally against your parents' principles, you know what I'm saying? And it was cool. You know, uh, the video games, there's things that's different now in terms of if they're saying that the science of mathematics needs to change because it's the 2000s then, yeah. But like I said, I don't expose myself to these people. Guys, I would love to have the 90s back. I mean, listen, that's like the $64,000 If we listen, if we could all, you know what I'm saying, go back. If we could all go back, man, and just came on to show us the results of these new methods of teaching. Well, that's kind of been my point with the newer brothers that come around always talking, you know, like even when they talk all that troublemaker stuff and or, you know, I don't want to harp on him, but I'm just saying he did just because it's fresh in my mind. The brother, you know, when he was talking about you know, different things that happen in the cipher and everything, you know, how he might not have agreed with the way certain things happen, you know what I mean? But you know, I do, you know, my understanding, I do have that understanding that no one produced like us. Like no one produced like us. Like, look, even the people from the 90s, look, we produced Rakim. We produced Brad Nubian in the 80s. We produced Poor Righteous Teachers. All of that was a part of what we was doing. You understand what I'm saying? Like we took it worldwide. And not, listen, it was just our time to do that. Not saying that nobody will, they got it to the level of it was major cities. You know, every major city you was starting, but we took it worldwide to where everybody heard. See, and you know, in my opinion, the 90s and the 2000s haven't quite, y'all didn't make a mark like that. You know what I'm saying? The 60s established us. We went from 0 to the 5%. The 70s exploded it. Where, you know, by the time I came around, it was in every single school, on every single street corner, in every single park. People was talking about this science of the 5%. What they got? For a new wave, you know, touchy-feely, you know, y'all be running people away. Yeah, but guess what? We taught a whole lot more motherfuckers than we ran away. And those motherfuckers we ran away, what they go on to do? Like, is one of them the president of the United States now or something? Like, is one of them in position where you could really say, yeah, y'all fucked that package up. But our time is coming. A brother came by the school the other day, and he was actually born in the nation. His father, he went to school with me in Love. And he was from Harlem. He was somebody like, I knew him, he was somebody I seen him around, but he wasn't like my peoples or nothing like that. At any rate, his son, you know, because, you know, building his pops and everything, and between his pops talking about being a 5%, as well as the experience of growing up, you know, and getting the knowledge and everything in New York City in the 1980s, right? He, you know, he was researching it. You know, small world, he actually goes to the same school that my daughter just graduated from, Michigan State. That he's there now getting his graduate degrees and stuff. So he's like, yo, he tried to research into the 5% and, you know, into the inner city experience in the 80s and just how, you know, everything that occurred, you know what I'm saying, and what was the influences on it, and, you know, what was the experience like, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, in my mind, I realized it. That's finally our turn, right? we finally want to get to tell our story. Yes, I'm saying, like, you know, the 60s, everybody know that story. The 70s, they got their story out there. You know, I'm talking about everything. You know, like, everybody know about Nicky Barnes, and you done seen American Hustle and all that shit. Now it's gonna be our turn to really say what happened. See, maybe we need if this, I don't know if you need to be documenting that. – 2014. Listen, man, I told you, man. After 1994, really, you know, it's like a handful of people in that area right there where, you know, because of them, I give a little grace period. But really, you know, 88, 89, 90, you know, by the time you get to like 90, people start getting shaky. Yeah, but that's me. That's not. Yeah, Wu-Tang Clan, King Son, we produced that. All that stuff that people talk about us, right? Remember, we produced the people that took this worldwide. That happened in our era. I mean, I would admit that freedom. The 90s was probably the last kids that played outside. Oh man, K-Rock, you gonna give it to them like that, man, full blast. Even though I ain't gonna front, there was if there was something that I agree with Bilal about, there was a kind of snobbery that came around with those vegan dreadlock brothers. You know, you know, and it just was a different group of people that started coming around that wasn't, uh, you know, they didn't have the same backgrounds. And so it was harder for them to understand, uh, you know, things that was happening with brothers before they got the knowledge. West Coast Wild City guys I was rolling with at the Shaw Pool was at least 10 years older than me. I mean, you know, that's what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? But you know, uh I just, you know, the perspective of the people that came after that time, you know, and that's right around the time that the ages started elevating too. You know what I'm saying? Uh, it's just, you know, that personally, you know, one thing I always say, and I have started noticing this, right? That brothers that got the knowledge in the 90s, right? That used to, brothers that got the 90s the brothers that got the knowledge in the 90s, right? Things that we used to be saying to them, right? Now I see them saying to brothers that got the knowledge in the 2000s. Like I see them telling the brothers in the 2000s, like, yeah, y'all fucking this up. Hey, nah, y'all started fucking it up. But that's what I say, when the time comes when, you reach the age where you can see certain things, see what I'm saying? Just like West Coast Wild, look, you got your kids right now, they're young, when they reach a certain age, right? Y'all be able to talk a different way when they reach a certain age and a certain maturity and everything. Brothers that was got the knowledge after that time haven't reached that level of maturity. Like I remember, believe it or not, right? There was a time that I didn't understand why people used to get borrowed. Like I didn't understand that, man. Like, yo, why I had to have you? Listen, the older brothers always say the same thing. You playing with this shit, God. Like everything that used to go on, I just be like, damn, man. Like, used to be people, because, especially it's like, yo, you might be cool with this person from school and everything, right? You cool with the brother, but look, at the school, the older brothers come up. And all that shit we was talking this morning, yeah, forget about that. Motherfucker come up here and deal with some science now. He don't know his science, man. He start going, oh man. I never used to say like, oh man, like, yo, man, why you had to do it like that, man? And then it came a day where I was like, yo, son, why the fuck did we ever start? So, not too many brothers from the 90s have taken up posts. Well, you gotta remember, Don Bishop, uh, the 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 desert just didn't have the same history. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there's one family of people and shit. You know what I mean? There's like a couple of people, but stuff really didn't get to the desert to like the early 70s. Just in terms of and even then, it still was a small pocket, around the projects. It wasn't really, most of the desert was a good suburban area. You know what I'm saying? Not saying like I don't really know the whole history out there like that, but who's the major dope dealer from out there? You know what I'm saying? They really came in the coke and the crack era. So they just didn't have that type of history. You know what I'm saying? And another thing that happened was hip hop music. See, in hip hop, everybody was, everybody had to meet all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? Where before, and then that's another, just things that it really don't got to do with every individual, but it's like, for instance, on Rikers Island, you know, yeah, the Bronx is a hard time. Brooklyn is hard time. So the population of people from the Bronx and Brooklyn in there, versus the population of people from Queens, you know what I'm saying? So, uh, those is things I wouldn't necessarily say was sleeping, you know what I mean? But really, Queens kind of came up in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like in the 80s, a lot of people still was shocked to hear that all that stuff that went down, with the cop getting killed, like people were shocked to hear that happened out there. Like if you didn't know, you know what I'm saying? Like people just didn't know about Queens. It was, you know what I'm saying, that, it's not like the rooftop or none of them stuff like that. I wasn't hearing about it. You know what I mean? So I put it to you like this. The area of the Bronx that I was resting in at the time when that record came out is called Kingsbridge. Like if you ever you look on the map, you see there's a Kingsbridge section, Kingsbridge Armory, Kingsbridge Avenue, you know what I'm saying? And when that record, The Bridge, came out, and they said the Brother Bridge, the Brother Bridge, Queensbridge, I thought they were saying Kingsbridge. Like I had never heard of Queensbridge Project before that. You know what I'm saying? So, whatever was going on out there, it just wasn't known factors. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sure dudes just hard as everywhere else, but they wasn't known factors in the rest of the city. Man. Now we didn't went too far. You done brought up now guy. Yes, complete got a lot is talking about Far Rock. You know what I mean? Yeah, Far Rock is a little bit different because uh, the people that I know from Queens, almost like dudes from Corona, they won't go to Far Rock. You know, I'm talking about dudes that they let that thing go off. They like Far Rock. Hey, that's why it says far, nigga. We don't go to Far Rock. Like it's, you know what I'm saying? You gotta damn near go through Brooklyn, even if you driving to get to Far Rock. You know what I mean? But especially if you're on public transportation, it's easier to get there from Brooklyn than Queens. You know what I mean? So the people in Far Rock got a little different experience where, you know, uh, you know, they call it Far Rock America. Yeah, I don't know what's going on now. Did Nas gotta go back to California yet? Yeah, I don't know if Nas got. He went back. Yeah, you know, I met him one time, but I met him on the rebound when he came back out here. You know what I'm saying? A couple of years ago. Uh, you know, he. I mean, we said peace. We said a couple words. But yeah, Nas guy. He's brother. I stay away from Nas guy. He's supposed to, yeah, I mean, yeah, I heard a couple things. You know what I'm saying? Like I came up one day and they was like, yo, nah, God, this, that, it's supposed to be all this stuff. It's like, listen, man, I don't, Nah, I seen Arkim. I seen Arkim and Sela. Uh, was that like Sunday or Monday? Yeah, I seen them though. I mean, now it's guy, I don't know the brother, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I met him one time. Uh, for me, he fits in the category of people that uh, they're under the impression that they should have been next in line. Like when the law returned, they was under the impression that they should have been next in line. Uh, the problem with that is that's not the teaching, sir. Like we supposed to go back to being followers, nigga. After we find out who he is, like we supposed to, like we're not talking about leadership. You're supposed to be the leader. Why don't we just go back to the monster? Wow, that just doesn't go with what we was talking. Now he could get a handful of fools on the internet, right, to believe his version of events, and he could probably get Inf to let him get on there and just document the shit he's saying. But at the end of the day, the stuff that he's talking, that's what it amounts to me. See, because, when I met him, that's what he told me. He tried to tell me I wasn't allowed, right? But then you always place yourself as the person closest to Allah. That's what he goes around teaching. So nobody can be Allah, right? And then as you go around telling everybody that you the closest one to him, he shows up at the rally with Allah's son, as if, just, you doing this royal succession shit. and we not the royal family. Like, what you think? What you think? That we're going to go back to being followers after we mastered the science of mathematics? Yeah, we could get in proper order and do things in orderly fashion, right? To bring about the reality of an idea that's manifested, even if it's not my idea. If it's a good idea, I can get in line wherever I fit in, right? To be successful at that. But just you, the leader, all right, where's my money? Because that's what we're talking now. Him? Yeah, he make knowledge more. West Coast Why said he seems to be losing his mind. Losing. I think that ship has left the. I think that ship has sailed. Yeah, I think that ship has sailed, man. But he played his part, you know what I'm saying, in the history of everything that happened, you know what I'm saying? You know, uh, sometimes it work like that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, he's recorded as having written some of the history. You know what I mean? He just blows it out of proportion. So I got me on here. I really came on here to make that quick rant. I just wanted to make that quick rant and then go into that science of supreme understanding versus your understanding. You know what I mean? Because I do think that's an important point that not only holds people back from seeing the big picture, right? But it holds us back from being able to come together and to say what I would have to agree with Malad and Infinite, you know what I mean, in terms of when we coming together to make a decision, to devise a solution, you know what I mean, or solve a problem or whatever, right? You know what I mean? We have to be coming together with the mentality that there is a universal understanding. Like if we come into the thing thinking that we ain't never going to see the same, then what we talking about? So I did think that was very important. Infinite said, when I first came around, I heard a bunch of different versions of the same story, with brothers claiming more validity than others. So I decided to document it for the purpose of measurement. Yeah, well, no, guy, you confusing it more. You confusing it more by doing that, guy. I mean, there's a lot of things that you hear a lot of different versions, right? But there's some things, Infinite, like listen, there's a version, right, of the fire that happened at the school, right, that says the fire department came and poured fire on the water, or they poured water not on the school where the fire was, but they started pouring water on the building next to the school. Now, you can say that's a version for you to document. That's what you can say, Infinite, if you want to do that. The reality, guy, is there was no building next to the school. Now, was there something where the fire department didn't act, in a way that would have prevented more damage? Yes. But this other version, Infinite, is simply that it's not possible. There was no other building there. I hate what you say. I listen to what people say. But there's also some things that people is telling you, yeah, God, in 66, God, and this and that. Wait a minute, God. You got the knowledge in 1974. Am I going to take his word over the people that was there? Like, I understand that, but I'm saying if you heard all these different versions and they confuse you, why wouldn't you search down and document the right version? Why put all these versions from? Because look, there was some other shit that you put in the video, and see, I'm not going to say nothing because that person can't defend themselves right now. But there was some other shit I was looking, and it's like, see, that's another thing why you can't go on these fucking videos, because I know these people. And I heard what you said on the video, and I don't disagree with what you said, but I also know you. And I know the experiences that you've had, some of them. And so you can have people over here repeating what you said on this video, but like I said, I know. And let's face it, do some people have more validity than others? Yes, Infinite. Yes. There's some people that you put on your channel and that every time you put them on there, we have a great laugh. Because the shit they're saying is not true. Sometimes it seems like that's the case, man. That sometimes we get to this point where we think the answer to negativity is more negativity. You know what I mean? Like if you ask somebody, yo, what's today's degree in the 1 to 10? And they say, well, his brothers got no 120 and they can quote 120 and they negative. Yeah, but what the fuck does that have to do with you knowing your lessons? Like, are any of those people in this conversation right now? I know what the fuck we talking about them for. See, this kind of race to the bottom of, relative negativity, I'm not with that. Oh, there go Wise Son right there. Wise Son, I actually was talking about your questions that you put on the what's the name. So we're going to get into the questions that Wise Son asked, and then we're going to wind this down. You know what I mean? Everybody make sure you did the each one teach one, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. You know what I'm saying? Of course, if you want to know when we go live, I haven't been hitting these other switches like this on the other days, like I was before. During the pandemic, of course, I had a lot more time. But let's get into Wise Son's questions, and then we're going to take this one down. So can you put the questions back in the comment box right now and refresh my memory? I recall you asking about what was the meaning of cipher. You know what I mean? It was something about zero in cipher. See, zero is nothing. And we know that nothing does not really exist. Right? A cipher, right, is what is formed when an idea is made complete. When knowledge goes to born, that forms the cipher. That actual completion, you know, like when you look up cipher, one of the definitions it gives you is a code. You know what I mean? One complete entity, right? You know, a set of ideas that work together. You understand what I'm saying? So you said, what is the meaning of zero? Once again, zero is the symbol, right, that we use to communicate the principle of cipher. But zero itself does not exist. You understand what I'm saying? Zero has no meaning. There really is no zero. You understand what I'm saying? See, we get into something now, right? Where you see what you're speaking on is the principles of mathematics, meaning the principles of the English language, right, is the alphabet, right? Tommy Robinson, the principles of the English language is the alphabet, right? But those alphabet have to be put together in a specific way. You understand what I'm saying? In order to form words that communicate ideas, you put these ideas together and, you know, it becomes more complex. You get to sentences and paragraphs, books, etc., etc. You understand what I'm saying? But in all reality, the first time that you're going to see that symbol zero in living mathematics is when you get to 10. You understand what I'm saying? So the cipher is there for only after you've gone from knowledge to born. And your knowledge adds a cipher to show that it's complete. But zero is not really, that's not supreme mathematics. But that's a science. The same thing, remind me of that. We get into that because that's an important science right there. You know what I'm saying? Living mathematics, right? Versus the principles of mathematics. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like, you know, arm, leg, arm, supreme, head, that's a whole unit, that's a thing. But just, you know, if you just had a stack of arms and legs and somebody's head there, yes, I mean, it wouldn't be the same thing. See what I mean? Now, you had asked another question about uh, the unit followed by 21 ciphers, but I can't recall what it was. but I'm pretty sure it was pertaining to all right, yeah, you asked a question. Now, like I said, the zero, right? The zero is to show and prove, right, that the knowledge has gone through a complete cycle to born, right? And the knowledge at a cipher to show is complete, right? So now the zero is worth the number. The the uh the zero, right, is worth the numbers that's around it. See what I'm saying? So if you have 10, right, we know that your knowledge has added a cipher. If you got 200, you know that your wisdom has added 2 ciphers. You see what I'm saying? So the numbers that's around the ciphers, right, and the amount of ciphers that it is, right, is what tells you what those ciphers mean. So you got the unit followed by 21 ciphers. And the unit is 6. So if you can rise above 6, right, then you would be subject to 21 ciphers, right? Wisdom before knowledge. You would be subject to 21 ciphers of death, hell, and destruction here on the planet. It will be hell for you, right? Instead of heaven, which is where you make it. Because you couldn't rise above the 6. Is that did that clear it up? So I'm just saying, whenever you see the ciphers, right, with the number, right, that's how you got to draw it up based on the numbers that's around it. Because remember, you can have 10, but you can also have 0.01, right? It's the same principles, right? But the order is different now. You see what I'm saying? So with those numbers that's around it, the order and the number of the ciphers, because you can have 0.01, you can have 0.001. In the same way, all of those have different values in arithmetic, right? It's going to be different manifestations dealing with supreme mathematics. You see what I'm saying? How did we get the words from smart started? I so we got that out the way, right? we had a good show today, right? Your understanding versus supreme understanding, bad narratives. You know what I'm saying? You know, we and if Meg could come on, you know what I mean? Drop a little signs on us. Hold on 1 second, bro. I got me here to the wee hours in the morning. The next thing y'all know, motherfuckers will be talking about that. But so yeah, like we said, everybody make sure you did the each one teach one. Share this on your other pages. You know what I'm saying? Because we starting to get it started, we just coming back, but we starting to get our weight back up a little bit. Looks like the alerts is going out. You know what I'm saying? We getting our people in here again. Tomorrow is Allah Shah's class. I guess Allah Shah will be broadcasting from here. If possible, I might get a chance to come on tomorrow. All right. God hit me on what's the name? So in the meantime, in between time, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say peace. Like I said, probably you had to check us on Sunday on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Me and Endemic will be back in the mix doing what we do. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, in the meantime, in between time, we're gonna just say peace and see y'all later.